guys, this is Animat, and welcome back to the Muppet Vlog. So, last week we had a little bit of a delay because instead of premiering the new episode of the Muppets, ABC decided to show It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown because, well, it is Halloween time. Or the reason I thought was because since I am in Canada, we had our major elections last week for our new leader, which is our Prime Minister. So I just want to let you guys know in advance, if ever the case that Canada ever screws up or ever does something stupid, just remember the name Justin Trudeau. But anyways, with that said, time to move on now to the new episode that premiered, which is Walk the Swine. And in this one, we only have one special guest like last week, which was Reese Witherspoon. And it actually is really interesting, and they actually used her to her full potential into this episode, mostly because of the main story of how Miss Piggy apparently has a grudge against Reese Witherspoon. And it's funny how in the show, you get to learn a lot that Miss Piggy has a lot of grudges against so many different kinds of actresses for plenty of different reasons. And like, I guess Miss Piggy kind of has a little bad rep here and there around the Hollywood scene. But anyways, going back to it, so Miss Piggy just wants to really outbeat Reese Witherspoon because Reese got the role for Walk the Line, which, as you may know, she got the Oscar for. So because of that, Miss Piggy has a grudge, and she decided to go outmatch her into this charity work to go and build houses. So pretty much there's this entire competition going on here and there. And then there's another plot where it includes Fozzie Bear, and to my surprise, Fozzie's girlfriend Becky actually comes back, which is funny considering the last Muppet vlog I mentioned that they never really got back into all the other like relationships and stuff like that. But it's nice to see finally, at least they're bringing it back. At least they're acknowledging there's something in there. So Becky is back, and basically, this is actually for the first time ever that I'm seeing it, is that people are laughing at Fozzie's jokes. Fozzie was in a stand-up routine, and they were actually laughing at his jokes. I mean, that's another unbelievable thing that just happened. I don't know why. Whenever they would bring Fozzie nowadays, like, they just do something incredible with him in terms of, like, the Muppets in general. But going back to the story, Fozzie Bear would just tell jokes, mostly picking fun at his girlfriend. So there's mostly that going on. So you might know a little bit of how it goes. I'll explain a little later. And then finally, we actually have a new plot line, which actually involves Scooter and Rizzo, where Scooter got himself into a little accident caused by Rizzo, and Rizzo, like, he wants to help Scooter out, so he would recommend a lot of his relatives, like, hey, yeah, here's my Uncle Tom, he's gonna help you out with that. And then, like, after another scenario happened, yeah, sure, here's my nephew, he'll go help you out. And by the way, yeah, that's my Rizzo impression right there. You know, come to think of it, I never tried that before, but hey, you know, it's actually not that bad. Well, that's if I do say so myself, but no, but anyway, I'll leave you guys to be the judge. How was my Rizzo impression? But anyways, going into the actual stories, I will say that the main plot is actually really strong, and it's actually really good. I really did enjoy the central episode of the Miss Piggy's competition against Reese Witherspoon. And what's actually really interesting about that episode, I've already mentioned that I really do like it because they really used their special guest, which is Reese Witherspoon, to her full potential and really incorporate her to the plot of the episode. But also we get to see a bit of a development with Miss Piggy. Kind of like we get to see a bit of her mentality, and mostly how her thoughts about the glitz and glamour side would really show. And pretty much how it really differentiates, like, how she would work in the real world. So there definitely is that. So I really do like it, how they really rounded out her personality and, like, given her a bit of a development in that. And then also there is the plot with Fozzie making jokes about his girlfriend, Becky. Which, I'll be honest, it is not that bad of an episode. It actually is good how they performed it. And a lot of the jokes in there that came in it, and I don't mean like Fozzie's jokes, but I mean like the gags that are included in there, they're actually pretty good. But I will say that it definitely is familiar. Since I am also a SpongeBob fan, this actually reminds me of one episode that they did. And I forgot the title of that episode in SpongeBob, but it's the one where SpongeBob ends up being like he was a comic, where like he would do this, he would perform in a variety show at the Krusty Krab, and then SpongeBob would suddenly make jokes about squirrels, which that kind of offended Sandy. So it really brings out that much of a vibe in the Muppets, where it's pretty much a bit of a copy paste of what they were doing. But in this one, I will say, like, the ending is a little bit different, and I will admit that it is sweet, but I will say that they did establish the relationship here pretty well between Fozzie and his girlfriend, so that definitely is a major plus to it, that finally finally they have relationships that they are acknowledging, not just one episode at a time where we question if they're ever going to bring it back. Now we'll just have to wait and see. Now it actually brought back my confidence. Maybe they're gonna bring back Denise and that's not just a throwaway or just like a marketing scheme for this for the show. But then there's also the little one between Scooter and Rizzo. That one I actually really do appreciate it, because we actually get to focus on some of the other ones. I know in the previous episodes they have done it at the same time, but this is actually one that did it really well. This was definitely much better handled than last time when we focused on Sam and Janice, where like Sam apparently has a crush on her, and like it's totally out of character. It just definitely feels off. It just doesn't work at all. But in this one, we do get a feeling about the characters. We actually do feel like this is Scooter, and we get to learn a lot about Rizzo. We get to learn, a lot about his relatives, about where he works, what they do and stuff like that, how they're godforsaken shady. So it all works out. So we learn new stuff about these characters. We learn about their personalities, and they're still who they are. We still believe that they are who they are. So it definitely works in that department. And before I continue on, I just want to mention right now that this is going to be a little bit of spoilers, so if you guys have not seen the episode, so you might not know where what I'm talking about, or like this could ruin the episode for you. So this is just a little advance warning that spoilers will be ahead in this. And with that said, so my favorite aspect in this, and this is something that, oh my god, they really fixed it very, very well, is actually how they ended up, like how they solved the conflicts in these episodes. No, not in these episodes, I mean in these stories. They actually work out very, very, very well, I gotta say. And here's what I mean by this. Now, if you guys recall, in the last episode, it just feels like it just ended suddenly. Like, they didn't have any idea of how to solve the issue of the episode, so they just wrapped it up quick, and it just doesn't feel that much. It doesn't feel well organized. But in this episode, my god, they have an idea of an ending for each of them, and it actually works out great. With the conflict between Fozzie and Becky about doing jokes and stuff like that, that was easily handled. That pretty much writes itself of how they can solve this problem. But the one with Miss Piggy, holy crap, that was just ingenious. Like, not only showing a new side, but they actually incorporated something that I actually just realized. I wondered, like, why didn't they do more of these, actually? And that is an original musical number, where Miss Piggy decided she wants to apologize to Reese Witherspoon, and she actually makes this gigantic number out of it to apologize, and it's pretty much the ultimate payoff for Miss Piggy to get back at Reese Witherspoon for winning that Oscar for Walk the Line. And, like, honestly, that's probably the best ingenious way of how to end that episode, or this could probably be the best ending of this season. Like, it's gonna be really, really hard to top that. It's just, you know, it's actually a lot of fun. It's a great musical number, and overall, like, it's like, I think they knew what to do for that ending, and they just constructed a story for that. So it definitely was incredible, and it really was the thing that made this episode. And it definitely is ingenious. So overall, this is another great episode where we actually get a lot of great plot lines, and we do get to learn a lot about the characters and see new developments with Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, Scooter, and Rizzo, and the relationship thing is handled a little bit better in this, so it actually feels more genuine. And, you know, I'm actually pretty glad to see Becky back in this position. It's actually, you know, it makes it work. It makes her feel like a genuine girlfriend to Fozzie Bear. You know, honestly, that's the weirdest thing that I've ever said. Like, I never thought I would actually say that, honestly. Like, a genuine girlfriend for Fozzie Bear. What the fridge? I never, like, honestly, if it were like 5 years ago, like, I would never imagine I would say that. With that said, definitely a great episode, and I cannot wait to see what they have for us next week. So, until then, see you later, dudes!